Hello everybody and welcome to your module on collaborations, connections and community. Everything is a relationship. We've talked about our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with money, our relationship with our friends and our family, and now we're going to talk about our business or work relationships and how our network is our greatest asset. In this module we'll talk about having a networking strategy, building quality connections with quality people, considering why you're networking, who you want to attract to work with and to collaborate with. And this goes for whether you're an employee or self-employed and building a business. And we'll talk about your inner circle. My philosophy on networking is that it's more give than take. If I can't help, I find someone who can. I'll search for solutions for that person and help them wherever I can. I take word of mouth marketing really seriously. Recommending and promoting others, good business is good for everybody. And I think that the key to effective networking is respect, and integrity and authenticity are everything in networking, because everybody is important and everybody has something to say. Everybody should feel welcome in that networking environment. And great networkers concentrate on their skills, experiences and motivations. They know that the sale comes later, much later, once the relationship's built, when that customer knows, likes and trusts you. And I believe that we need to cherish and nourish our network, and so networking is for life. What you get out of it depends a lot on what you put in. So don't ask what your network can do for you, ask what you can do for your network. How can I best serve my network today? How can I show up and be the best for everyone in that room? Simple things can really help you contribute more, and therefore you'll receive more. So get involved in the meetings, volunteer to help. It will boost your confidence, your profile, and you'll increase your customers as well. And you may have heard the saying before that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we use them in that proportion. And it's so true when we take the time to understand the person, their business and their needs, and to build a genuine relationship. This is the difference. It's about relationships and not just a sales lead. We create lifelong relationships, a growing contact list, and ultimately that then leads to increased sales and a thriving business. There's a great quote by Andreas Siegel: challenge yourself to give as many leads as you can and measure your success at the end of the event, not by how many cards you've collected, but by how many people you are actually able to help during the event. Before we get into it, let's think more about the principles of networking and building relationships, because relationships don't just spring up fully grown, they must be nurtured over time. Every relationship starts at the visibility stage. People see you around, get to know you. You build credibility as people get to like and trust you. They hear how you do business and treat clients and referrals. Profitability happens when people know, like and trust you enough to connect you with their friends and family, contacts and clients, and this is the same for you. So by following the steps in this module, they'll help you to be profitable and make the most of your networking groups. So becoming a member of a networking group is a great way to build relationships over time, and in my view the key success factor is attendance. Keeping to the meeting schedule commitment shows you can keep commitments and will significantly increase your referrals. It's that consistency. And when we see each other regularly, we stay at the top of that person's mind. So I recommend the simple things: arriving early and staying for the full part of the meeting for maximum visibility and credibility. My second key success factor is having one-to-ones with the members of the group. So many people miss this part and it's absolutely vital. Schedule these immediately. Learn about other members' businesses and help them get to know you and you to get to know them. And a lot of networking events invite you to share between a 30 to 60 second presentation to introduce your business and to let people know how they can help you. Now this needs to be planned to make it easy for others to share and talk about, and so that they know who you want introductions to and how to make those introductions. So I recommend including what you do and how you add value, so like 1 sentence, not a list for the entire presentation. A story about how you helped a client to look at your invoices, current client list for your ideas. Share these stories. You may not be able to share names, however you can describe situations, paint a picture for the other members of the group. And then you want to think about Who would you like to be introduced? So the more your fellow members know about who you'd like to meet, the more chance they have to help you to make it happen. How can you open a conversation with that person? What question could your fellow members ask them which would open the conversation? So you're training them to know how to have the conversation with other people. So your exercise here is to align to your 60-second message. And I know it can really freak people out when they first start doing it. One of the things that makes them really nervous and hesitant and not want to go networking. It gets easier, and obviously you've got the energy alignment method to bring yourself into alignment and to increase your confidence in doing this, in sharing your message. So when you're creating your draft, bear in mind that 175 words is about 60 seconds. So to keep on time, use 175 words or less so you can breathe and speak at the same time. And once you've created your draft 30 to 60 second presentation, check you don't have any resistances to it, and release the resistance to it, and then align to it. I've included in the workbook a template that you can use to help you write your 60 seconds. Other key things to think about are events and workshops, and often the national networking groups will have business skills workshops that you can attend. These are great for developing your skills and, of course, networking. You never know who you're going to meet. Other resources, national networking groups will do member profiles online. You can utilize these resources to broaden your reach as appropriate for your business. You can reach out to people within the online world and build those connections. And of course, if your business is global, you can use the global networks as well. I know that I use the BNI network internationally. I've been to BNI networking meetings in Poland and in Las Vegas, as well as a range of them in the UK. Fantastic resource, not just in the room but outside of the room as well. So let's take stock of where you are right now. So who do you want to meet when you go networking? Where are you networking now? And does this group have a network that includes your ideal clients? Are you networking in the right place? What's working well about your current networking? What could be improved? So do you know about all the available networking groups in your area? Which ones are best for your niche? Which fit your lifestyle, your personality and your business? There's some great ones and people being really creative near me now. So we've got net walking, so people go for a walk as they're networking. There's ones where people go for a run and then go for breakfast, so like net fit. There's all sorts of different ranges of things that will suit you. Book clubs in the evening, so it doesn't have to be a specific let's meet up in a room and hand around business cards. You can make it a little bit more exciting for you. I host one in Brighton called Coffee Talk, which is a very low-key one where people come and we do a quick 60-second introduction so everybody knows who's there, and then we all just chat. And that works really well because a lot of people also go to the more formal ones, and so people like to have that relaxed coffee morning style one as well. I always encourage people to meet up afterwards to make sure that people are actually getting value from their investment of their time into the group, and that's where I think the real business building and the real relationship building happens, is in the one-to-ones afterwards. So I invite you to Google networking groups in your areas. Here are just some ideas to get you started. There's Ladies Who Lunch, Mompreneurs, Athena, Wire, which are all specific for ladies. Meetup, First Friday, and Intonations are for both men and women. There's also Women Who Do Business as well. BNI and Bob are both for men and women. Facebook groups, just to give you an idea and a start. The key for having good one-to-one meetings after a networking meeting is to prepare for your one-to-one. I've shared in the workbook a business overview sheet that you can prepare to help you extract out what you want to share with the people that you're networking with. And I learnt this from BNI, and it's absolutely fantastic. So it really helps you to get really clear on how people can help you so that you can give them the best chance to do this, and you lead by example so that they learn how to best help you and others to help them as well. So take a look at the business overview sheet in the workbook, and you'll consider what results do we deliver to our clients? What are my USPs? So why am I different? What professions and categories do I want to talk to? So these are your collaborations, your strategic alliances, referral partners. Those are people who will already be working with your ideal clients, and their ideal clients will be looking for somebody like yourself. Then I want you to look at the top 20 companies that you want to do business with. So for business to business, you can name the company or the department that you want to get an introduction to. And of course, you can use LinkedIn as a fantastic resource to help you refine this down. And then for business to consumer, name the top 20 demographics you want to get an introduction to. So questions to ask. So what should you ask the potential client to start a conversation about me? So this is really helpful to give your person you're having one-to-ones with, what does someone who needs your services sound like? I'm so fed up of this. Or, if you're a plumber, a simple thing could be, my toilet's broken and I don't know a good plumber. And how to introduce me. Oh, I know my friend Jane is an amazing graphic designer. She's my go-to person if I need anything to do with design. Would you like me to get her to give you a ring to help you out with your problem? So you can tailor it to suit how you speak. So when is it a referral? What situations might people find themselves in which they can refer? Also invite you to think about when might it be a referral, what situations might people find themselves in when they can refer. And also great to have some testimonials and some stories on hand so that you can talk about how you've recently helped a client. Think about your networks and how you can help that person, and it's really key to think about this before you go to the one-to-one, specific for that person. So if you think about all your contact spheres, you'll have both personal and business ones to see if there's a referral opportunity for that person. So what networks are you in? What organisations do you get involved in? How can you help that other person? So now you have a really clear idea of who you want to meet, the areas you need to focus on, and how you can support your network with knowing who are good introductions and referrals for you. So you want to create a plan with actions and timescales that you can commit to. It's the implementation of what you've learned and consistency that will bring you results. So this plan can be part of your business plan. And some ideas that you may want to include in your plan. Interviewing members of your networking group and sharing that on your website, because your interviewee will share your post with their network too. And you could offer to be interviewed for their audience as well. Review your diary to see where you can allocate time to be consistent in holding one-to-ones, following up and introducing people to each other. Create a system for keeping in touch with your contacts. Build those collaborations and alliance partnerships. These are your opportunities for collaborations and joint ventures that bring together complementary skills and our businesses already doing business with your ideal clients. So in developing your collaborations, connections and community strategy, in other words, your networking strategy, follow these 5 steps to develop a practical and straightforward strategy that's going to work for your business or for your professional portfolio in an organisation. Step 1, identify your reasons to network. So to create a successful networking strategy, you need to be clear about why you want to network in the first place. So use the questions in the workbook to create a list of reasons and put them in the order of importance. So is it to find new business contacts or introducers, or is it to retain and build existing relationships? Why are you doing it? Is it to benefit from a support organisation such as a staff association or a trade body, or to find a sponsor or a mentor? Is it you're networking for career development, for example, to find another job within your company or another company? Is it to position yourself as an expert or a champion within your market or your peer group? Is it to set up a team of experts? Is it to increase your knowledge about your market, specific industry and issues, or the factors that influence your customers' buying decisions? Is it to strengthen relationships with colleagues and employees? Is it to motivate your team? So when you're considering your reasons to network, it's really important to establish how much of your networking time and effort you should devote to different goals. So for example, how much of your networking time should you focus on finding new contacts, and how much should be spent building relationships with existing contacts? How much of your networking effort should be spent developing internal relationships, with colleagues and employees? And how much should you give to external ones, so those are your clients and your other contacts? And actually, how urgent is each of your networking goals? Step 2, work out how many contacts you need. So every successful person I know has a contact base of people that they've known for years. Some they do business with, others are specialists, and many are friends and introducers. Whenever you meet a really interesting person, it's worth seeing them as a potential contact for life. And some relationships, however, will necessarily just be a short span, and it may be that they're specific stepping stones towards your medium and long-term goals. So estimate the number of contacts you'll need to achieve your networking goals. So many people don't think of it like this, but this is getting really strategic with how you're spending your time for your connections and your community and your collaboration. Step 3, identify the people you should network with. It would be fair to say that a typical small business owner or manager would need a network of between 60 to 100 people to achieve their networking goals. So it's really critical that you find the right contacts. And there might be several steps involved in tracking down the best contacts for you. So do you know the names of the people you need to develop better relationships with? If you haven't already met them, can you arrange to meet them? And if you don't know the people you need to know by name, do you know their job titles? For example, it could be head of operations or sales director. And if you want to meet people who can introduce you to their contacts, make a list of those who already know. Who makes the best introducers for you? Classic introducers include accountants, bank managers, non-executive directors, and so on, because they know so many different types of people. So list the types of businesses you want to meet or specific company names. List the membership organisations that you should join. Then step 4 is to review and take action. So take another look at your networking plan and think about your reasons why you want to network. Are they still valid? Your priority areas, will they get you to your goals quickly? Whether you have a reasonable split between internal and external networking. Whether you have a reasonable split between developing existing contacts and finding new contacts. And then a deadline for achieving each of your networking goals. And then you want to review this on an annual basis. Now, within all of that, we want to connect to the people we want to work with, because your community matters. We need to surround ourselves with people we love spending time with, and it doesn't matter if you're building a business or if this is for your place of work. You need to be around people who understand your message, what you're about. So the work to do here is twofold. We're going to release the unsupported beliefs and align to supportive ones, and then think about the traits of people we want to attract into our community. So part 1 is releasing the unsupported beliefs about your community, and you know how to do this now using the energy alignment method. Use this way to identify the beliefs that you hold in your energy, find out how many beliefs you have of each one, release them, and then align to the aligned and supportive beliefs about your community. Part 2 is attracting people you want in your community. So I want you to focus on building a community of like-minded people around you, friends, joint venture partners, employers, contacts, family partners. You want to be able to attract people with the right qualities to help you with your mission. And likewise, you may be able to help them with theirs. So use this way to define which of these traits on the list you need in people you want to attract into your community. Align yourself to attracting these traits you need. And you can group the traits you want to attract into 1 or 2 statements. So the key here is to be crystal clear on what qualities you want to attract. So for example, your alignment statement might sound like, I'm ready to allow my community of people to be loving, humble, magnetic, loyal, spiritual, carefree and brave. I allow this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. How good does that feel to know who you're attracting into your community? And it's really critical to think about who you are spending your time with. There's a very famous quote by Jim Rohn who says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I love this quote, and how I interpret it is as you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, including yourself. And this relates to the law of averages, which is the theory that the result of any given situation will be the average of all outcomes. So who you spend your time with influences the person you eventually become. Who you are with can elevate you as much as it can bring you down. So the type of people you interact with influences your consciousness level and your beliefs and behaviour in a particular area. And when you look back over your life and the different groups of people you've spent time with, can you see how they have influenced you? Your first task here is to revisit your life map and consider the groups of people you shared time with during your senior years at school, university, previous employment as a starter. So how did students treat each other at school? Were teachers negative at school? How did this impact you? Or were teachers positive at school, and how did this impact you? Were people at your previous companies solution focused, positive? How did this impact you? Are your friends or co-workers sleepwalking through life? Are their lives revolving around working, eating, sleeping, partying, generally surviving? Or do your co-workers or friends gossip, complain, talk about low-level topics? Or do your friends or co-workers talk about love-based topics and living with purpose and self-improvement? Do your friends and co-workers live the lifestyle that you would like to have? Or do your co-workers have a good relationship with money? There are two variables that determine how much of your thoughts and actions are influenced by the people around you. The first is your consciousness and resilience as an individual, and the second is the collective sum of consciousness of the people you are with. So these combine to impact who you become. So you may be the most conscious and smartest individual around, but if you're constantly surrounded by negative, fear-based people in your life, it will impact who you eventually become and your progression in life. If you're heavily grounded, there may be a limited downside that your negative friends can bring you, but you'll also get a limited upside as you're spending time with people who hold you back rather than people who can be elevating you. This is what Robert Kiyosaki experienced as well, which he shared in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He had two dads, his real dad, stuck in the middle class with limiting views on money, and his rich dad, one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii, who was smart about getting money to work for him. By consciously choosing to learn about money from his rich dad, he acquired many beliefs and a positive mindset on how to become rich, which eventually led him to become successful in life. So if you hang out with a group of successful, positive individuals who believe in taking responsibility for their lives, you will become a proactive individual who shapes their future. If you hang out with a bunch of pessimists who believe that the world is out to get them and there's nothing worthwhile, you'll start to descend into a pool of negativity at some point, even if you're initially a positive person. So this is especially important in goal achievement because the consciousness you vibrate at affects your thoughts and actions. So if, for example, if you want to lose 20 pounds of weight, you need to think as your ideal end state, someone who makes good food and lifestyle decisions. But if you constantly surround yourself with people who eat a lot, you make it harder to eat a healthy diet. So at this point, your abilities to stay on track in your health goal will boil down to how grounded and resilient you are. Consider how much easier this task becomes if you're hanging out with like-minded people who share a similar goal, or even people who have already achieved this goal. Of course, this doesn't mean you have to sever relationships or cut away anyone who doesn't contribute to your goals. It just means that you should monitor your contact with people who don't enable you to become a better person. And only in the event that a person is seriously dragging you down should you cut him or her away. Remember, if you entrench yourself in relationships that do not elevate you or bring you forward, you're not really helping yourself or the other person. And that's because you're not being the best you can be, and subsequently not being the best you can be to them. So let's find your core circle. So the work to do here is set out for you in your workbook. I want you to think about what kind of person you want to be. What is the ideal self you wish to become? What qualities do you wish to possess? Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with currently, and what are they like? What are the top 3 qualities each of them represent? And do they match who you want to be in the future? Do the qualities match who you want to become? Do they help support you or detract from your vision for yourself? And do they elevate you or bring you down? Who are the top 5 people who embody the qualities you desire? And they should be people you aspire to become or respect in some way or another. And it can be someone who's already achieved the end state or goal that you want to achieve. There are no rules here, and it doesn't matter whether the person is a celebrity or a general person, a friend, or outside your social circle. They might live in a different country, or they may have passed on. It can be Oprah, Benjamin Franklin, Albert Einstein, Barack Obama, or whoever. And if one of your career aspirations, for example, is to be a chef, you can list Iron Chef or a world-renowned international award-winning chef as one of the 5 people. If you want to lose 100 pounds, list someone who has already achieved this goal or who has desired your desired body weight or type. If you want to be a movie producer, list someone who's achieved their success in this line of work. People like Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, Christopher Nolan, or Peter Jackson. So you get the idea. Now I want you to think about how you can increase contact with them. And this is the interesting part. So depending on who the people are, and I share some following methods in the workbook, and you can use them to reach out to them. Creating your inner circle that will support your journey is a key part of your collaborations, connections and community strategy. So it could be direct contact. So this obviously is, through face-to-face, email, telephone. So think about how you can increase the opportunities of interacting with this person. If you know the person, how can you communicate with him or her more often? And if you don't know the person, does this person belong to a certain community that you can be part of? Do you have any friends you might know who might know this individual? And is there a way for you to join the same social circle? Then think about products of their work. So if direct communication doesn't work out, you can always bring the person to you, basically in the form of their work. So does this person have any work under his name? It could be a book, a show, a podcast. Get your hands on them and soak yourself into them. My car is my university for life. I have so many audibles of my mentors that I listen to as I'm driving around. That's how I've increased my contact with them. And it's so key because the content conveys their consciousness and knowledge, and you're absorbing the energy of that. Visualization. So clear your mind and visualize these people mentally, and then mentally consult them and observe their responses to whatever you ask. You can do this in your daily life where you project their persona in varying life situations and think and act the way you think that they will. So you're channeling your inner mentor or coach. And Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich that every night before he slept, he would have an imaginary council meeting with his invisible counsellors. And the council started out with a group of 9 people, and then it eventually expanded to over 50 people. And he included people like Darwin, Einstein, Aristotle, Confucius, and Socrates. And through these nightly council meetings, he received immense inspiration, knowledge, and ideas which he credited for his success in life. And as you transition to the new you, what will happen as you increase your contact with these 5 people? Well, if the difference in your consciousness level is high, you're probably going to start off feeling like a bit of a misfit. They'll probably talk in lingo and topics that are different from what you're used to. And even when they talk about topics you're familiar with, their perspectives can be totally different and not something that you've looked at before. So it will challenge your thinking. You might feel awkward around them. So release any resistance you feel, any awkwardness you feel, and align to your consciousness shifting to this level and being on the same wavelength. I want you to connect with them every day, even if it's just for 15 minutes at a time. And it's a matter of time before your consciousness alters and shifts to the new level. So you'll start resonating with the people you aspire to be. And you'll find that you start thinking in the same wavelength and start talking about the same topics as them. So this thinking will then, of course, affect your actions, which will manifest into the results you see in your life. So your head, heart and hara in alignment. I want you to shape your life by choosing who you're with. Choosing who you spend time with literally shapes your future. So start by examining the people you spend the most time around and consider if these people are enabling you towards your envisioned self. If they're not, identify and increase contact with the people who will enable you to become the best person you can be. I review my inner circle and I'm reviewing my annual plan, and I consider this very seriously. The energy work to do is to work on any resistance to connecting with the people or taking these steps. Transform any expectation out of the relationship, and what you want from them is about being in flow and allowing the relationship to unfold. And how can you turn up to be your best self for them? And this is an energetic exercise designed to help you play a bigger game. If you can transform the resistance and take aligned action to making this happen, this is your clear message to the universe that you mean business and you're no longer willing to sit back and hide. If you want a new lifestyle, you have to change the things you do and who you hang around with. It is that simple. So your checklist for this week is you've watched the video training. Tick. I want you to create your 60-second presentation, your business overview for your one-to-one meetings so that you are fully prepared for those networking one-to-ones, your collaboration, connections and community strategy to include your reasons for networking, contacts required for growth, and who is in your network. I want you to release the unsupported beliefs and align to attracting people you want in your community. revisit your life map to set the scene for then identifying who your core circle is and who will be in it. Thank you so much for joining me. As ever, I can't wait to see what unfolds for you. Share your questions in the Facebook group. Do bring them to the Q&A calls as well, and share your light bulbs. Sending you so much love. Take care. Bye-bye.